It's not that I'm not a fan of annuities. I just think they're overused and they're oversold to so many people because, in my opinion, the person selling them is just looking to get a commission so they can move on to the next person. And that's not how we work.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman & Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving with Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
This is Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman, the founder and the managing member of Silverman & Associates in Tucson. I'm Ron Stutz. I get a chance to hang out here with Mark for just a few minutes here, talking about some very important things having to do with your retirement and your financial plan, because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life. You need to talk to Mark Silverman. You can get a 20-minute complimentary introductory phone call with Mark. All you have to do to make that happen is call 520-333-7601. Leave your name and phone number on a message. You don't need to talk to anybody today. 520-333-7601. Soon you'll get a call back and you can arrange a time to have that 20-minute call with Mark Silverman. If you'd like to find out more about Silverman & Associates, go to savingwithsilverman.com. That's the website address, savingwithsilverman.com. We talk about all kinds of things having to with retirement and financial planning related to that. And Mark, let's talk about the A word. There's a lot of confusion out there about annuities, probably because there are different types of annuities that do different things. So I'll give you a different type of annuity each time, and you explain how they work and how they might be used in someone's financial plan. You ready? First, an immediate annuity. How does that work, and when might someone use it?
Annuities are all issued by insurance companies. And I'll just say this. I know I kind of bash annuities a lot. And the reason for that is a lot of these people on the radio who push themselves out as fiduciaries and saying they're doing what's right and putting the clients first, all they're doing is selling annuities. And I find that they're putting too much of the client's money into annuities. And I don't think that's right. So that's my first thing. I think they're overused. And with rates where they are right now, they're not very competitive. So an immediate annuity is an annuity they're all issued by insurance companies. So you need to make sure that the company you're buying it from is strong. The strength of the company is strong. So basically what the immediate annuity does, you put X amount of dollars in, and then you'll get payments based on the time period you choose. So let's say you put $100,000 in, and it's going to pay you, and I'm just throwing a number out there, $1,000 a month. And I'm just throwing numbers. Those aren't real numbers. So maybe you get $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. Maybe you have a choice where you can get it for a certain period of time, maybe 10 or 20 years. Maybe you can get those payments annually or quarterly. Don't see a lot of use for these. I've seen people use them. Not a huge fan in them. I guess they can work in some cases, but not a big fan because once you put that money in, it's gone. That money's gone. You can't get it out. That's why you see all these commercials where I need cash now. I'm sure you've seen those, Ron. Those people are buying structured settlements or buying annuities from people for pennies on the dollar.
That's how an immediate annuity works. And let's move on to the next one here. What about a fixed annuity? What can you tell us about the way that works?
A fixed annuity offers a fixed rate. They typically are a little bit higher than CDs, and they typically have a longer maturity. So you might, instead of seeing a 1 or 2 year, you might see a fixed annuity that's got maybe 3 or 5 or 10 years. And again, you typically have a higher rate of return than what a CD would pay. But you also need to consider the strength of the insurance company. They're not FDIC insured or anything like that, but they could be a safe investment. But it's for somebody that's looking to buy CDs to park some money for a short to medium time that wants a little bit higher rate than what maybe the banks are offering.
Okay. The next kind of annuity here is a variable annuity. And man, I'm going to brace myself. I'm going to put on my seatbelt to hear what you have to say about this one.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of variable annuities at all. I'm a fan of the market. And I believe that if you want to be in the market, be in the market. Don't do it through an annuity. A variable annuity has basically what you have is sub-accounts, which are in a sense mutual funds, which have fees. And then you have the annuity, which has more fees. So the average variable annuity has somewhere between 3 to 4% in fees per year. And I'll say that again. Average variable annuity has about 3 to 4% in fees per year. A lot of people don't notice that when the market's going up and up, but when the markets go down, that's on top of that. And it's taken out of the contract. And it's not a line item typically that you see. So a lot of those expenses are hidden. But I'm not a fan. Your money's not protected. A lot of people sell these, they're commission products. Again, not a fan of a variable annuity. It'd be the last thing that I would buy, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, they're one of the most expensive investment vehicles that you could buy, but a lot of people sell them because obviously high fees means typically higher commissions to the person selling them.
Another example of why you need to know exactly what you're buying. We've talked about an immediate annuity, a fixed annuity, and then a variable annuity. Finally, what is a fixed indexed annuity and how does that work?
So these are what you hear everybody talking about on the radio. They're giving you a 10% this, and then if the markets go up, you go up. If the markets go down, you don't go down. It doesn't work exactly like that. I've seen them work in some cases. They can work very, very well. Again, like I said before, these typically I find are oversold by financial salespeople who are just looking to get a high commission. So if you go there thinking you're going to get anything else, think again. They're not doing planning. They're not planning goals. They're not giving you advice. They're there to just sell you a product. How much money do you have that they could sell you into an annuity? And this is typically what it is, a fixed index. The problem is if the markets go up, you get a portion of the gains, not all of it, but a portion. If the markets go down, it is true you don't lose anything, but you do have a lot of restrictions as far as accessing the cash. A lot of them have huge surrender charges. A lot of these policies that you get into 10, sometimes 17 years that you're tied into it. And some of them you can never even get out of, I've seen. So again, I've seen these work in some cases, but for a lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people that buy any annuity, in my opinion, are just sold a product when there could have been a better solution had the person done something right. And I don't blame the client. I blame the person that sold them something, and it sounded too good to be true, and the person didn't question it, and they bought it, and they didn't realize it till later on in life.
You're listening to Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman, a certified financial planner professional at Silverman and Associates in Tucson. Thanks for being with us today. We've been talking about the A word. That stands for annuity, of course. We know you're not a fan of variable annuities, but my question is, what type of annuities, if any, do you use in your planning?
Well, the only time I would use it, and the only times I have used it, and I don't use them often, I'll be honest, is in a case where we need to create some guaranteed income. So if somebody needs some income, maybe they've got a pension, maybe they've got Social Security, and we have a shortage of, say, just throw a number. Let's say we have $1,000. We'll figure out what's the minimum amount of money we can put into something that's going to guarantee them an income stream of that amount. That can work in some cases. That's the only time that I would do it. In fact, if somebody's against annuities, I certainly understand that. We can go other routes, and that's just another option we can do. We can always build a portfolio and say you're just going to be drawing off, dividends and interest of this portfolio over time, and that's going to create the income that you're going to need. We're going to pull X amount of dollars off each month or whatever it might be. So using an annuity might make sense there, or it might not. It just depends, and it depends on what the client's feeling is. We'll provide the advice to the clients and show them the pros and cons of each, and then they actually the ones that make the decision on what's going to work best. But we're giving advice and showing this is what we recommend, but they can do what they want to do. We can be flexible depending on what the client's preferences are.
Explain a case, Mark, where you've used one or multiple annuities to meet someone's financial goals at Silverman and Associates.
It's been several years since I've actually used a particular annuity because rates are so low right now. I just don't see them as being that competitive in the cases that I've looked at. But, in years past when rates were higher, annuities made more sense because in my opinion, a lot of the guarantees were better where we would create a situation where somebody would put money in and we created kind of a pension situation, if you will, down the road where we could say, if you put this amount in at this amount, you're going to get this. That still works with annuities today. In my opinion, the rates and the guarantees aren't as good because interest rates are at all-time lows right now. So you have to look at that as well because the insurance companies are investing the money in a lot of times in treasuries, which we know where treasuries are at. They're again at record lows. So just keeping that in mind. So it's just, again, not one size fits all. Again, when it comes to annuities, and I'll say this, it's not that I'm not a fan of annuities. I just think they're overused and they're oversold to so many people because, in my opinion, the person selling them is just looking to get a commission so they can move on to the next person. And that's not how we work. We have relationships with people. We want to make sure we're doing what's best. And in a lot of cases, annuities aren't the right thing. But if I only sold annuities, if I was an insurance salesperson, I would tell you to put all of your money into annuities. But since I'm not, that's not how I do things. So to each their own. Everybody's got their own opinion.
If you'd like to have a discussion about retirement, any aspect of it, any of these tools in retirement planning, Mark Silverman is the guy to talk to. In fact, he offers a 20-minute complimentary introductory phone call. You can arrange that by calling the number and leaving a message. I'll give you the number in just a second here. But Mark, when someone wants that introductory phone call, what does it entail?
It's just a chance to ask questions. We'll ask you some questions, get to understand what you're doing. Are you interviewing other advisors? Are you not satisfied with your current relationship? Whatever it might be. Maybe you're a do-it-yourself, or you're looking to maybe work with somebody for the first time and want to see what that looks like. We have a process that we follow. We spend a lot of time with our clients. We do financial planning with all of our clients, and that's really the first step. You're not going to come in and be sold something. I can tell you that. I am a true fiduciary. And I know there's somebody else out there that calls himself a fiduciary and in the same ad tells you about an annuity that they recommend. I can tell you this, a fiduciary looks out for their client's best interest. How can I recommend something to you if I don't know your situation? So to pitch a product to everybody out there listening is wrong, in my opinion. So let me say this. We're just going to have a conversation. You'll get to learn about us. We'll learn about you. If it makes sense, we'll move forward. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But I try to help everybody that I can. But in order to get to that point, we need to have a conversation first so we can see if we're on the same page.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601. Or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman & Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman & Associates, an affiliated company.